So first we should talk about the composition that you're going to design. I always like to use a quick sketch to place out the things that I'm going to include in my drawing, and I think this really helps you organize your thinking and make some decisions about what you're going to include and what you can leave out for now. So this was the first one I did. If you wanted to Google examples on the computer, the word diagram is a good one to include. So you could either do diagram of sunflower or just write in flower diagram. It'll give you a lot of great ideas, and I really do highly suggest looking at photographs when you are trying to figure out how you want to do your sunflower and which type. There's many different types of sunflowers. So the layout that I chose finally to do is a vertical layout. This is pretty much what I think I'm going to go with, but I'm going to move the heading over to the middle. I decided the seed is going to be over on this side, and I might put a little bit more space. I might put the leaves down a bit and pull that leaf down a bit over there. So I have all of that in my head now as I get ready to start my drawing. Begin your drawing by leaving a space for the sunflower label. You can add your text later. Then drop down in the center top and make yourself a small dot that will be the center of your sunflower. And you can go ahead and turn your paper using the motion of your arm to help you create a nice circle. And then I'm going to do another layer, kind of a ring around that first center circle. The type of sunflower that I picked had that look to it. And then you think of this is the center point, so almost like you're drawing a starfish or a star. Think about 5 different points, and they're going to be curved. So I'm going to jumping over and drawing 5 different lines coming out from that center point. And then go ahead and split it again so that you end up with 10 lines coming out from the center. Those are going to be the middle of your petals. When you draw the top petals, you want them to be rounded on top. When you do the side petals, they are going to be a little bit more weighed down by gravity, so you can start to add some points to it. And the bottom petals are going to be pointing straight down. Close to straight down, you'll see the pointiness of the actual petal. And as you do this, go ahead and give some difference, some variation to the petals. Some maybe you see the whole thing. Some are kind of slightly turned, a little bit twisted maybe. And try to keep it constricted so you don't end up with losing the negative space there that you need for your labels. Now that I've done the first layer, I'm going to go ahead and do the same idea coming out from the back. I'm adding a layer of petals behind the first layer. And again, the top part, bend them over a little bit. The points are actually bent away from you so you can't really see where they finish. But the ones on the bottom, you can see them come to a point, and the ones on the side tend to be a bit come to a point. All right, so we have our idea of the structure of the petals. Now, I didn't do a stem yet. Let's go ahead and bring a really simple stem because I'm going to use my colors to bring this in. And same thing with the leaves. I'm just kind of describing the space, but not doing a lot of shape forming right there. I'm going to have one leaf here. Do it just small enough that I can add some labels in there. And then I'm going to pull my seed over here. I'm going to do it a little bigger than it really is. And that's my basic layout sketched out. And now I can start to add on layers of color. So let's take one last look at this process. You start with a layout, create a design for your sunflower. Now here's where I would do something a little different than I initially showed you. I realized that because I mostly had crayon, I needed to do my labels first so that I could draw those nice sharp dark lines into the objects so that the crayon is not really going to cover them up too much. It won't be a problem, but that's what I would suggest is go ahead and lay out all of your labels while it's still a sketch and then color over the top of it, just like I did in that time-lapse video. And one of the things that I did before I started my coloring is I played around with all the different colors I had so that I knew that some of these colors and mixing them would give me some other colors I didn't really have available. And I tried to stay away from the really bright blue, mixing that with yellow because it makes it too green. Whereas if you have a blue like this or a purple like this and you mix that with yellow, it makes more of an interesting kind of a brown if you do it lightly. So that's kind of what I did in terms of that. And ultimately you end up with a colorful, beautiful diagram that is finished. You notice that there's a lot of white left in here, and I left that because the sun shines on the flower and it makes it look like it's reflections. It looks like highlights. And so I'm just using the white of the paper to create the highlights. So don't be afraid to leave white spots. Don't be afraid to leave the lighter spots in the center of the stem. It makes it look round. Sections in your leaf. It's a good way to round out your object by making the edges darker and the interior a little bit lighter so it's like sun is shining on it. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day.